Hello, everybody. So I was thinking just yesterday, actually, that wow, everybody's just been so respectful lately. My wall has just been so calm and peaceful. There's been no problems. Haven't had to block anybody in quite a long time. And then all of a sudden, of course, I had to post something that, but you know what? I don't even realize at this point how controversial some of my ideas and posts are, because to me, it's just so common sense and so obvious. And I've been living it for so long, and I've surrounded myself with so many people that have the same beliefs or are really coming to the same beliefs that I'm sometimes taken quite aback by. Wow, okay, so some people are in a very, very different place than me. And one of them, one of the biggest, is this victim narrative thing that so many people, especially women, but men too, are really, really stuck in. And I'm here to get men and women the fuck out of that narrative, because it's not serving them, and it's keeping them stuck even when they don't think that it's keeping them stuck. And so this idea that women have, that they had to get in there, they had to really become really masculine because men just weren't stepping up and they weren't devotional to them. It's bullshit. Okay, I know it doesn't seem like it's bullshit on the surface to a lot of women that are stuck in this narrative, but it is bullshit. And so let's look at historically, right, with the whole feminism movement, which all that did was masculinize women for the better part of a century, right? And they called it feminism, but it had nothing to do with being feminine. It's masculinism. That's what it is. And it's like, oh, they had to do this. They had to become more masculine because they were just being so oppressed. Okay, so is what you are telling me that back then, say 100 years ago, there was no devotional men, that men had no interest in serving a woman, that no women, or sorry, that no man actually cared about devoting to a woman's heart, about protecting her, about with keeping her safe, with providing for her? And then it's only by men becoming really feminized and really emasculated that they suddenly were able to uh, actually care about women? No, no, that is bullshit. That is bullshit. Men are instinctually programmed to serve the feminine, to serve feminine women. Now, yes, there are absolutely, and there have absolutely been men who are very damaged and they are very abusive, even to women that are extremely feminine, extremely vulnerable, extremely respectful. Those men exist, right? There are sociopaths out there. There are psychopaths. There are narcissists. There are men who've just been really damaged and just incapable of devoting in any way to a woman. I'm not denying that those people exist. Of course they exist, and that's really unfortunate. And it's really unfortunate that women have been exposed to those kind of men. But most men are not like that. Most men in any time period have never been like that, right? Because we are instinctually programmed to serve feminine women. Now, here's the problem, is that when women don't know how to be truly feminine and truly vulnerable and truly radiant, uh, then a man is not going to feel that desire to serve her, right? And you can even look 100 years ago. Yes, women were definitely more in their feminine back then. Were all of them being really vulnerable? Did all of them have high self-worth? Were all of them willing to walk away from less than they deserved in a situation with the man? No, they didn't. Women have actually been conditioned to be like throughout history to believe that they are inferior to men in a lot of cultures, right? Which isn't true. But when they believe that, and they believe that their feelings don't have value, they're not going to be radiant. They might be feminine, but they're more like feminine doormats. And so that has created a situation where, yes, a lot of men do take advantage of that and do perpetuate that. So that's part of this whole victim nonsense that is still going on today. Like, that we needed this whole feminism movement. No, we didn't. And you could look at the same thing that's now happening with these men's movements, like MGTOW, MGTO, men going their own way. Where it's like, women are just all selfish bitches who don't care about men, and I'm just not going to get in a relationship with a woman because she's just going to take advantage of me. Like, that's just the same victim crap. It's the exact same crap, right? And it's not true at all. It is not true at all. When you are a man, when you are a dominant man who knows how to lead, who knows how to serve a woman, you're not going, first of all, you're not going to have any interest in women who are, you know, really selfish and wanting to take advantage of men and mistreat them. And second of all, even if you are in the presence of such women, as long as they're even somewhat responsive to your leadership, you're going to help lead them out of their own BS and their own selfishness. If you're a really good leader, a devotional leader who truly cares about women, you're going to be able to lead them out of that stuff, right? And so the whole victim mindset nonsense with men and the men going their own way, it's just as ridiculous as the victim narratives that women have. And I don't support either of them. Listen, I just don't support bullshit. I'm sorry. If I see bullshit that men and women believe, I'm just going to call it out. That's what I do. And I don't care how many people it pisses off. I piss off a lot of people that way. But it needs to be called out, because as long as you are believing these false narratives, you're just going to stay stuck in them forever, right? If you are a radiant feminine woman right now, if you learn how to become that woman, you are going to inspire the fuck out of men, out of the vast majority of men. Out of every single man? No, because good luck doing that with a true narcissist, with a true sociopath or psychopath. So no, not every single man. And maybe some really, really feminized men are going to want to stay stuck in that. But the vast majority of men are going to be responsive to that, because it is in our programming. It is in our genes to want to rise up and serve such women. And even if, you know, some men are selfish, right? They're more selfish. Their heart isn't fully open up to that. Such men are going to sense that, whoa, this is such a radiant, like, feminine woman. Like, I want this energy around me. And whoa, I better be my best, because if I'm not, she's going to flow away. She's just going to walk away from this. I cannot get away with being anything less than my best, because I know that she will not stick around, because I can sense that she knows that she deserves better, and she's willing to walk away from it, right? Just being vulnerable and soft is, I mean, it's great in itself. It's wonderful. But if you're not willing to walk away from less than you deserve, then you have low self-worth, and you're going to attract parasites. You're going to attract men who want to take advantage of that, right? And then you are going to create a situation where you are a victim, and you're allowing yourself to be victimized because you weren't willing to walk away from that situation. Now, if a man, you know, I know that there's really abusive situations too, where like a man is, you know, threatening death on a woman's children and stuff like that. I get that, and I have a lot of empathy for that. Believe me, like, those situations do exist. That is absolutely horrifying, and it actually does. That kind of stuff actually does exist, where women will try to trap men in that kind of way too. So I get that. I'm empathetic to both sides of that. I'm not saying that that stuff doesn't exist. But in almost every situation, you are not powerless to do nothing about it. Okay, you have the ability in almost any situation in your life to do things about your circumstances, right? If you are not inspiring, if you're doing everything, like if you're truly in your feminine, you've actually implemented all the stuff that I talk about, and you're able to be very vulnerable and soft and everything, and a man's not stepping up, why are you with him? Why the hell are you with him? Like, get away from that man. He's a piece of crap. Like, and the same with a woman, right? Like, if a man is doing everything he can to lead, and he's like, oh, like, I've tried everything, and I'm trying to be dominant, I'm trying to step into my leadership, and like, she just keeps being abusive to me and all this stuff. Why are you still there? Like, why are you, if you're not making progress, if you're putting in effort and your partner's and like effort that's actually going to be effective, like learning feminine communication, a man learning masculine communication, and your partner's not making any change, why are you still there? I just don't want to hear these excuses anymore. You're either doing the work or you are doing fuck all, and you have no reason to complain. Those are the two possibilities. And so when women tell me that they had to become more masculine, they had to become someone that men want, like literally have no interest in respecting and serving. How is becoming more masculine going to protect you when becoming more masculine automatically is going to attract disrespect? It's going to make abusive men more likely to be abusive, right? When women are masculine with me, when they're masculinized, I don't like it. I have a lot of self-control though, and it's not like I'm deeply identified with being a man. I don't have much left in the way of trauma. So I have the leadership skills to either lead women out of it or block them or whatever. Or if it's in my real life, just not interact with them anymore. But for the most part, women will actually be responsive to my leadership. But for other men who actually are abusive, who haven't fully found their masculine core, who haven't been able to step into that masculine energy fully, and they don't know how to properly lead, they haven't taken mine and Mark's dominance course yet. It's there, and especially if they're in a relationship with that kind of woman, the more masculine she is, the more she is going to either one of two things. Either if a man is even somewhat masculine, it's just going to attract tons of abuse from that man, or he's just going to become a complete doormat to her, right? Becoming more masculine does not protect you from abuse. It attracts it. It really does attract it, especially in a relationship. Learning to be masculine is not it's not a substitute for just learning to walk away from less than you deserve when you're just being feminine, right? It's not a substitute. It's not going to protect you. The only way that you're actually going to really be safe as a woman is if you learn to make yourself feel safe in your feminine energy, in being vulnerable, and be willing to walk away from less than you deserve. And that's it. Being willing to walk away from less than you deserve, but you've got to be in your feminine energy. So much victim nonsense. Like, it's just, there's just so much of it. And the thing is it is going to destroy your life. The longer that you stay in this, you're never going to get your needs met, ever. Okay. And you've got to let that narrative go. You've just got to let it go. I spent a lot of time in my teens and 20s in that victim mindset as well, not with the masculine feminine stuff, but definitely when it came to girls, I just thought that they were all bitches and they just wanted assholes to mistreat them. That was the victim narrative that I built up of why I was unsuccessful with women, right? Everyone's got their own narratives, but not everybody. Some people have actually transcended that and now they're actually living amazing lives. But most people have narratives about why their life sucks, why their love life sucks, why women are not treating them the way they want, why men aren't treating them the way they want. The reason is because of you. It's because of the narratives that you cling to keep your identity intact. your ego is not interested in your happiness. It is interested in keeping its beliefs intact, keeping your identity intact. Your ego is a survival program, and it's always trying to keep your beliefs alive and intact in as much as possible. And so if you just believe your own lies that your ego is telling you, you're never going to grow. You can have the relationship of your dreams once you step out of that and you start doing the work. You start doing the work. As a man, that means developing boundaries. It means learning masculine communication, learning to judge women objectively, not judgmentally. Be directive. Feel that dominance, that dominant energy inside you. And learning to lead women out of their own masculine energy and into being vulnerable, into being soft, into being respectful, because only then are you going to feel a desire to serve a woman, right? Otherwise, you're not going to be interested. Why would you be? There's nothing, it doesn't feel good. And it's the same thing for women, right? Get out of your, like a man has to stop being passive. Needs to stop being accepting and tolerating and feminine and step into his masculine energy and start leading, start trying to get a different outcome, trying to move towards his inner vision. For women, they need to stop trying to control things, stop trying to make themselves safe, stop trying to stay guarded, stop trying to lead a man to do things for her, stop trying to teach them, and learn to express in their feminine, and then walk away from men and block them from your lives if such men are not able to rise up and protect their hearts, right, and actually care about how they feel and lead based on that and become more responsible based on that. And that's all there is to it. There's no victim story. There's no room for victim stories in any of that. You grow or you stay stuck. Those are your choices. You can grow extremely fast. If you learn how to do this properly, you can change everything in your life within a year or two. And then it just keeps on getting better from there. Or you can spend the next 50 years in your victim stories, making minimal, if no progress, and you're not going to get what you want. It's that simple. Do you want to get what you want, or do you want, or is what is most important to you is your identity and your stories? That simple. For me, I don't give a shit about any of my stories. I don't care. I disidentified from all of them because what I care about is getting to the truth and leading towards my inner vision and having an amazing life. And now I have it. I'm not a victim in any way. I take responsibility for everything that I have done in my life. Right? Good decisions, bad decisions. I make even in childhood, like those are my decisions that I made. Right? Did I make the best decisions that I could at the time? No, sometimes I didn't. Often I didn't. And it got me into a place where it was not the ideal. I don't blame myself because that's just another story. That's just another victim narrative that I have no interest in. I just put the responsibility on myself that I could have made better choices throughout my life, and I didn't make them. And now that I'm wiser and more centered and less fearful, now I make increasingly better decisions. Are all my decisions amazing? No, some of them are still wrong and stupid and lead to bad outcomes. And I take all responsibility for that too. But pretty much everything in my life is pretty good now because I'm making increasingly better decisions. And a lot of that has to do with, for my own growth, is becoming increasingly masculine, becoming increasingly dominant. My problems just really disappear when that happens. And that's going to happen to you too if you just do this work and forget all about the stories that don't matter. They don't matter. They don't matter. Let's see if there's any interesting comments here. Surprisingly, all pretty much good comments, so that's pretty cool. And And I just want to talk a bit more. This was actually the main reason I wanted to do a video, but I want to talk a bit more about the meta narrative about women being oppressed throughout history. Okay. Because so much of that narrative has trickled down into, you know, your narratives about your present life, right? And, you know, there's all these other narratives about race and about, it just gets ridiculous now, about straight people, and just everyone's oppressing everybody else. I can't stand it, actually. It's so absurd at this point. Okay, so throughout history, it has been the only narrative that I believe, and this isn't one that I actually identify with. It's just, I don't even care. It just, this is what I see objectively. This is not part of my identity in any way, but it is sociopathic elites that have been manipulating everybody else and keeping them suppressed in one form or another, suppressed, oppressed, poor, whatever it is. I'm not using that as an excuse for my current situation financially or anything else. That's just what I see. And yeah, they'll make it black against white, women against men, trans, non-cis, whatever gender against straight people, all of that kind of stuff. And the men versus women is one of, if not probably maybe the biggest narrative to keep both men and women in this victim mindset, especially women, but now more so, I think, increasingly men, as men have been, you know, a lot of men have been screwed over in family court and all that stuff, and that's really horrible too. And what has happened to a lot of women has been horrible as well. I get all of that. I'm not saying it didn't happen, right? I'm not saying that bad things didn't happen. I know that bad things have happened to individuals and to genders and all that stuff. I'm very hyper aware of that. I've studied that for a really long time on both sides of the fence. And at the same time, though, like, if we are going to look at, we'll say, oppression with like women, like, oh, women have been so oppressed. Okay, while men have been forced to go to war and die for their country, for their community, while men have had to work 16-hour days out in the field, back-breaking labor, killing themselves early. Like, yeah, I know that women's life sucked too back then, you know, having 20 kids or whatever and being stuck at home. Everybody's life sucked back then. Life sucked, right? but don't make a story about it. Don't make a story about how it's like men that are suppressing everybody and oppressing women. Just life sucked, and move on, right? And today, like, moving forward to today, you know, sometimes life sucks for some people, and sometimes it's because of bad luck, and more of the time it's just because of bad decisions, or a combination of bad luck and bad decisions. The question is, the only question that I care about, that means anything to me, because I don't care about the stories, I'm not interested in that. It's, what decisions can you make today to make your life better tomorrow? Are you making all of those decisions, or are you spending half of your energy trying to reaffirm your victim narrative? Are you making all of those decisions? Where are you holding back? So for a woman, where are you not being vulnerable? Where are you not trying to soften? Where are you continuing to hold onto control? Where are you continuing to blame? Right? And for men, it's, where are you continuing to be passive? Where are you continuing to just accept? Where are you not, you know, making judgments? Where are you not leading towards your inner vision? Where are you not setting strong boundaries? For both genders, it's, where are you not walking away from less than you deserve? You're just wasting your time with people or a person that is not, it's not useful to your life, right? Yeah, bad things suck to everybody. Get over it and do something about it. If you're not doing everything that you can to do something about it, I'm not interested. I'm interested in helping men and women become the absolute best versions of themselves that they can possibly be. That's all I care about. And if you're telling me stories about why you're not the best version of yourself, or why you, especially if you, why you can't be the best version of yourself, I don't care about that. I'm interested in men and women who are ready to grow. And yes, I will also admit that for some people, it's more difficult because of decisions that have been made in the past. For example, sucks more for single mothers, right? You got 2, 3 kids that you have to take care of. You know, that's going to require a lot more masculine energy. I get that. I'm empathetic to that. That sucks. It's unfortunate. Bad luck plus bad decisions equals you're in a situation that's now more difficult. I get that. My question is, are you now doing everything despite your circumstances to become the best version of yourself that you can be? And also for your children, of course, in that specific situation. Because if you're not, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? All of the answers, everything that you need to be doing is available to you, right? You know, even just reading my books and being in my free group, there's a ton of answers. Watching my free videos, you can grow a ton just from that stuff. Are you utilizing that 100%, or are you making excuses? Which one? And then if you do have the finances, are you joining my Radiant Woman Academy? Are you joining my Dominant Man Academy? Because if you're not, why are you making excuses? Why aren't you choosing to push through all of this and massively fast track yourself in such a, you know, literally shave years or decades off of your learning curve, because we have everything presented for you. We have all the answers. We have all the guided help, right? Those are choices. Those are choices. I really don't like hearing excuses. I just don't, because I just don't make excuses for things, right? If I notice that I'm making excuses for things, I need to snap myself out of it, because, you know, I have the ability to have an amazing life if I am making good choices. Men and women have that ability too. You just have to choose to make them and not stay in your stories at all. And even if, you know, your story is accurate, right? Like maybe your life really got just fucked. You got fucked over, right? You had a really abusive parents, and you had, you know, abusive uncle, and, you know, you were dirt poor, and like all of these bad things. I get that. That's horrible. I had a lot of advantages growing up, especially compared to something like that. So I get that. That's horrible. You got a lot more trauma to deal with. I understand. I understand. Are you doing everything that you can to get out of it or not? It's your choice. And if you're identified with that story, you know, if you get really triggered by people talking about how, you know, that's, you know, you don't be a victim, and that there's, you know, let go of all the narratives, well, then you're still attached to the story, aren't you? You're still attached to your old identity that's not serving you in any way. You don't have to remain attached to that. You don't. That's a choice too. And so one of the things that I end up doing, not really on purpose, but it's kind of just what happens, is I give men and women the opportunity to get triggered, because I just speak what the truth is, or the closest version to the truth that I can distill, and I speak it, and then people get really pissed off because it conflicts with their narrative, with the things that they're identified with. And even if I am wrong about things, ultimately, that doesn't even matter, because if you're getting triggered, it means that you're identified with something, and it's something for you to let go of, because it's not serving you. So let go of it. And I teach both men and women how to let go of it in different ways, right? But it is possible to let go of that stuff. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to really talk about. So I hope you really enjoyed this video. And if you are ready to not be a victim anymore, I don't want to work with victims. I don't want to work with people who want to stay victims and have their stories now validated. I'm not there for that. Right? I'm not there for navel gazing. I'm not there for validating stories and identities and crap like that. I am here to help you become the absolute best version of yourself you can possibly be. Radiant woman with high self-worth, a dominant man with high self-worth, man who can lead everything in a relationship and serve his woman, a woman who can let go and be vulnerable and just receive all of a man's gifts. That's what I can help you do. Helping a woman inspire a man's devotion, and helping men teach their woman and lead their woman into being emotionally responsible and into being more feminine and getting out of all these conflicts so they don't happen anymore. So if you're interested in that, go to my website, relationshipyourdreams.com, and check out the Radiant Woman Academy and the Dominant Man Academy and sign up. You get a course, you get lifetime support. You basically cannot fail in your goal as long as you're actually serious about making changes in your life. Because we have the full support for you, we want to make sure that you become the best version of yourself you can. As long as you have that desire and you have that perseverance and the ability to push through fears, you'll do it. And if you join the course, you'll do it fast, right? A year or two. There's no reason that you wouldn't. It just, your life will be completely day and night. But that's your choice. That's your choice to stay where you are, or it's your choice to slowly, very slowly move to something better, or it's your choice to very rapidly move to something better. That's your choice. That's it for me. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you got a lot out of this video, and I'll be doing another one soon.